Next one we have would be factoring using a difference of two squares. Once again, something that we've seen before. You should know this. This shouldn't be new to you. This is a review, so hopefully it's ringing some bells. Well, if we're using a difference of squares, we're going to factor it just like we had before with these two here. However, you're going to have basically the same thing in each set of parentheses here, but your signs are going to be different here and here. So for difference of squares, it's a nice little trick. If you notice, 9 is a perfect square, x squared is a perfect square, 25 is a perfect square. Well, what we can do here is we can have the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of x squared is x, the square root of 25 is 5, and it's going to be the same thing in each one here. However, the signs will be different. Now let's see why this works. If I had 3x times 3x, I'd get 9x squared. Negative 5 times 5 gives me negative 25. That's great, but what about the middle term? 3x times 5 is 15x. Negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. So we have 15x, negative 15x. That middle term cancels out. That's why this works. Let's factor the next one. So for this one, once again, two sets of parentheses. So we're going to have x, because the square root of x squared is x. We'll have x and x in each spot. Square root of 49 is 7. We'll have 7 in each spot. I'm going to have subtraction and addition. It could be addition then subtraction. Doesn't really matter. But there we go. We are factored. Boom. If it asked me to solve, I could go a step further. So let's pretend. Hey, let's see if we can solve this. So we'll have x minus 7 equals 0. X plus 7 equals 0. We have x equals 7 here. And x equals negative 7. So if it asks us to solve, we could go that step further. If it just asks us to factor, we're right here. Let's go ahead and solve both of these. I wrote in some directions there up top. We're going to solve. So this first one here, two sets of parentheses, don't forget. I'm going to have x and x because x squared, square root of x squared gives me x. Square root of 16 is 4. So I'm going to have a positive and a negative. Well, when I solve both of these, I get x equals negative 4. And here I get x equals positive 4. Some of you might be thinking, oh, well, couldn't we just do this with square roots? Yes, we could. But if it asks you to factor it, you're going to need to know to factor this like this right here. Okay? Solving it, you could use square roots. You could use factoring like we're doing here. You could use quadratic formula. There's a lot of different ways. But if it tells you a specific way, you need to make sure you follow directions. And I know you guys are great at reading directions. That's sarcasm. All right, next one. Parentheses. Square root of 25 is 5. Square root of x squared is x. Boom, I've got my 5x and my 5x. Square root of 4 is 2. So I'm going to have positive and negative, or it could be negative then positive. Either way, it works out. So let's set both these equal to 0 because it did ask me to solve. So I'm going to have 5x equals negative 2. So we get x equals negative 2/5. And then for the next one, I have 5x minus 2 equals 0. So I get 5x equals positive 2. So divide by 5, and I get x equals 2/5. Bibbidi boppity, we're all good to go.